The RG476H is a console that I hadn't really paid attention to until I got it in my hands. I'm not really a big fan of glass-fronted handhelds, and I thought to myself, it's just Anbernic attempting to copy Retroid. However, when I first got my hands on the RG476H, I thought to myself, could this be a fantastic device to replace my Retroid Pocket 5 or Retroid Pocket Mini? And could it be my new PlayStation 2 handheld? I've been using the RG476H for the past month to answer these questions, and this is what happened. As I said, when the RG476H was initially coming, I wasn't really that interested or bothered about it. I love Anbernic, I love their consoles, but they release so many, I've started to become a little bit desensitized or less excited to what new features they're going to have. They tend to kind of have a slightly different ergonomic feel, or maybe some are a little bit more powerful than others. They don't necessarily all stand out as much as they do with an AY and Thor release, or when Retroid announces a new one of their devices. Although the Retroid Pocket 6 is not as exciting as the 5 was, but anyway, different story. The other issue as well is I'm not really a fan of these glass-fronted consoles. I get it, they're trying something different. It currently does look a little bit more premium maybe than an all-plastic console, but I feel like it's just going to get dated so quick, and I personally don't really like them because it's really a lot more awkward putting screen protectors on them, and I just don't really feel it looks as good as everyone seems to think it does, or maybe not everyone, but at least the manufacturers seem to think it does. So I picked up the RG476H slightly reluctantly, but once I got it in my hands, it actually felt really good. It felt durable. It has all the classic quality of Anbernic that we come to expect these days, which is great controls, the analog triggers felt great, and it was a really nice device to hold in your hands. It also feels like a really nice size as well. The Retroid Pocket 5 can feel a little bit too big to be carrying around with you all the time. The Retroid Pocket Mini is a little bit too small for long PlayStation 2 sessions. The RG476H is kind of like the Goldilocks console that fits perfectly in the middle. And whereas I only really intended to use a 476H for about a week to get a good impression of it and to let you guys know what I thought, I found myself using it for the entirety of a month after that and thoroughly enjoying it. And even though now I've moved on to other consoles, I've moved back to my Retroid Pocket Flip 2, I keep thinking about the 476H and just what a nice convenient console it is. Now I've been playing mostly PlayStation 2 games recently, and I've been playing Mission Impossible Operation Surma on the Retroid Pocket Flip 2, but I also transitioned to the RG476H, and it was an absolute pleasure playing it on this console. Having the RG476H in my pocket, not worrying about it falling out or dropping because it is very pocketable, but also it's really durable as well, or at least it feels durable. I haven't dropped it too much to test it. But it does feel more durable than the Retroid Pocket 6, for example. Being able to have that in my pocket and just pick it up at any point in time and smash out a few extra levels on Mission Impossible Operation Surma has just been an absolute blast. And as a matter of fact, I've completed Mission Impossible Operation Surma on the RG476H because it is just such a great console to use and have around with me. What I really like to see with the 476H is that unlike the 477M, which came out a similar time, is that the 476H actually has stacked shoulder buttons, which enables it to have analog triggers. The 477M for some reason just doesn't, and that was a huge disappointment. So I was really pleased to see those included on the 476H. Furthermore, we've definitely moved away now from those really tall analog sticks we were seeing from Anbernic in 2024. I think they learned the lesson and they've made much more recessed analog sticks now, and the 476H luckily has those too, which makes it a really enjoyable console, which still manages to have a lot of range of movement on the analog sticks. Now my one gripe is that the left analog stick is below the D-pad, and I did find myself at times, especially with those longer play sessions, that I was starting to get a little bit of cramp in my thumbs just because you've got to have them bent down a little bit more. I feel like anything that's going to give GameCube or PS2 emulation a chance needs to have the analog stick above the D-pad. I mean, that's just my preference, but I feel like a lot of people feel like that as well. Regardless though, I was able to put in some serious PS2 sessions on the 476H. And the great thing about that is that it had a really decent battery as well. The battery life just seemed to just go on and on and on. And when it needed a charge, it was quickly charged and good to go again. Sometimes some of these devices with fans and pushing out PS2 emulation capabilities can drain the battery a bit quicker, but I think we've reached that point now. I don't know whether it's optimization or if it's just bigger batteries, but the battery life is definitely not something you'll ever find yourself needing to consider. And it gives you the kind of battery life you expect to have from a pocketable gaming handheld system. Now the 476H does come with a fan, and it does come with different power modes, which I didn't actually find myself needing to use all that much. Again, I don't know whether it's to do with the optimization now or whether it's more powerful processors, but the 476H, playing PlayStation 2 emulation on it, never gave me the feeling that it was ever really going to struggle. No doubt there's a couple of moments, as there always is when it comes with emulation, but unlike back in 2024 where playing most PS2 games, you would have some noticeable moments and you'd always have to have your console in high power mode with the fan on it. The RG476H was able to cope pretty much smoothly just in normal mode without the fan. I mean, that doesn't mean I wasn't putting it into high power mode, and when it was in high power mode, it wasn't draining the battery ridiculously either. But it was just really nice to have this handheld device that you didn't really have to worry about. And I think if I was to sum it up, that's how I would describe the RG476H. It's a great retro gaming handheld that gives you some fantastic power for PlayStation 2 and GameCube emulation, and it does it in a way where you just don't need to worry about it. The price is decent, the controls are fantastic, the pocketability is brilliant, the durability feels great, the battery lasts ages, and the power feels sufficient enough to be able to give you the quality of gaming that you would expect. Honestly, I was not expecting to like the 476H all that much, but it's kind of snuck in there, and it's definitely one of my favorite handhelds of 2025, and it's one of the handhelds I keep on thinking about picking up. If you want to get your hands on an RG476H, links in the description below, but if you want to check out my initial impressions, then check out this video right here.